Welcome to the second tutorial on CSS layouts. So we're going to get started in this video. Now the first thing I want you to do, as I did in the previous CSS and HTML series, I would like you to create a website folder, and then I want you to create a index.html and also a style sheet. And remember, when you're in Notepad, remember to save as all files, and you will save it as a style sheet. And this already exists, so I'm going to save it, fine. And the same thing with this, you're going to save this as an HTML or HTML. So when you go to save as, you don't want to select the .txt, you want all files. And then that will give you a index.html and a style sheet.css. So as you can see, I already have the standard HTML document here. And of course, we are going to point to our style sheet within our folder. Now, the first section that we are going to style is the body section. And what we're going to do in terms of this layout is we're going to start in a top-down order. So the body gets rendered first, so that's what we're going to style first. And you will remember that the body encompasses the entire web page. So every other element that we put in here is a child element. All of the content sections that we're going to do, the sidebar sections, they will all be child elements under the body section. So what do we want first? Well, I always like to start out with a nice background color. So let's go ahead and put that into our body. And you'll remember that the property is background-color. And I've got a hex code all ready to go. And that is 9C9Fox84. All right, and so let's go ahead and save this. And let's open up our page. And there you can see we've got a nice background color now that encompasses the entire web page, because this is, of course, the body section that we are dealing with. Now, I want to point out that you can pick the colors that you want. So if you want a different color here, by no means do you have to use the colors that I am using. I just sort of selected these, but you can use any color scheme that you want if you intend to use this layout for a website. And one good way to do color matching is go out to Google and you can type in website color matching, and there are any number of websites out there that will help you match colors. So again, this is our background color, and what we're going to do is we're going to place all of our child elements over this, and we will actually use this color actually for some other purposes, and I will show you that in a few videos. So let's close this out. So we've got our background color, and remember, everything that's put within the body rule set is inherited by all the child elements that we put in the body. So for instance, if I create a main content section and I don't put in a color in there, it's going to inherit it from the body. Now we're going to override that. We're going to put different colors in the main content sections. But if we didn't, it would get this army green that I have here. So just keep that in mind. This is really just a background color that we want for the entire web page. Now we also want to set the margin to 0. Now you will remember the browser by default puts in that extra margin space, and we don't want that in this web layout we're doing, so we're going to just override that and set that to 0 pixels. So that will eliminate all the extra margin space that the browser tries to create on the edges. So let's go ahead and save that. There's nothing really to see there. If we load this, you won't really see anything because we don't have any other elements in here yet, but we would notice it if we had a bunch of elements in here. So let's just go ahead and close that out. Next, we're going to set a font that we want to use throughout our web page. And I already typed this out, so I'm just going to copy and paste it. The first one that will get loaded is Verdana, and if the web browser can't locate that font, it will load Georgia, and if it can't load that font, it will load Serif. Now, Verdana and Georgia are two of my favorite fonts. Actually, I like Georgia a lot too. But again, you can pick the fonts that you like. You may want Arial or Helvetica. You may have some other font. Again, it's what you want. I'm just giving you the layout, but again, you can pick the fonts that you want to load. So this is a good way to set up some nice inheritance, because every child element that we put out there now, all the content panes that we do, will automatically put the Verdana font out there in those child elements. We don't have to do it now because we set it up here in the body section so that it could be inherited later. So again, this is always good practice to set your fonts first in the body rule set. Okay, so let's move on. Now we want to set the font default size that we want throughout the web page. And in this case, I'm going to set this to 14 pixels. Now again, you can set this to what you want. You may just want to use a keyword. Remember, we talked about that in the CSS series. You can put small, medium, or large. Now most websites will use small or medium. And this 14 pixels equals the smaller pixel size. But remember, we can expand this out through percentages in the child elements that we put in the body, and I'll show you that in a few videos, and we did that in the last series as well, and we're going to do that again here. So again, we're just setting the default font size that we want throughout the website at 14 pixels. And so let's save this, and again, if we open this up, we're not going to see much at this point, but yeah, there's not much there. All we have is the color, but these properties will become more relevant in the next several videos. Okay, so that's going to do it for the first video. Then the next video, we will create the header and the navigation bars. See you guys then.